Okay, so you've done all the hard work and you have shown your home and you are starting to get offers. What happens now? So let's say not only do you have one offer, but you have a few more rolling in. Your agent is going to collect all those offers and set up a time to go over them with you and work down through all of the terms. Price isn't always the only thing that's important to you as a seller. So they're going to discuss all the offers with you. You guys are going to decide which one works for you best. If you do only have one offer, you might counter that buyer's offer, see if they'll do a little better, see how far you can push them. But in cases where you have multiple offers, normally everyone is automatically submitting their highest and best, and you know that they're probably not going to do any better. You still can go back to them to see if you can push them a little bit further, but usually, like I said, they are submitting their highest and best right out of the gate. So let's say you've decided on an offer. So congratulations, you are finally under contract. You don't have to show your house anymore. You don't have to keep it like picture perfect. So what happens now? When you go under contract, it is certainly possible that there might not be any contingencies in the offer that you've received, which means there's no home inspections. There's maybe no financing, so there's no appraisal. So the under contract process can vary greatly. It can be super duper streamlined if there's no contingencies in the offer. And you sit back as a seller and you probably think, there's probably stuff I should be doing right now, but there's not. But if there are contingencies in the contract, like home inspections and appraisals and things like that, then your realtor is there to help you handle them as those balls get thrown at you. So if they've elected some inspections, they will have a certain amount of time to get those inspections done. The inspector is going to schedule their inspections. You do not want to be home when the inspector is there because you don't want to inadvertently say something that you shouldn't. And you also don't really want to hear every stinking thing that's wrong with your house. So it's best to get out of Dodge if you can. Plus, if you have a pet or something, you want to remove them from the house as well. Once we get the reply to the inspection, your agent will help you negotiate through that. You know, perhaps the buyer asks for 2 or 3 things to be repaired. You have the choice of number one, saying, no, forget it, we're not doing anything. Or you can just say, sure, we'll do it. And then you get quotes, get the work done in some form or fashion. But let's say you don't want to do the work. You also have the option to offer that buyer a credit, or maybe you split the difference and you take care of one of the things and the buyer then can decide whether or not they want to move forward. It's just another point of negotiation. Your realtor is also going to stay on top of the buyer, their agent, and how the financing process is going. Another portion of the under contract process is the appraisal. Now, this is assuming the buyer is using financing to make the purchase. If they are not using financing and it's a cash purchase, there will be no appraisal. But if there's an appraisal that happens, we truly are at the mercy of the appraiser. Your buyer might be willing to pay $50,000, $75,000 more than the asking price for the property, but if their appraiser comes back and says, it's not worth it, then their lender is going to say, well, no, you're only going to pay what the appraiser said for the house. So then the buyer's agent is going to come to your agent and say, hey, we got some bad news. We got an appraisal cut and we need to work through it. So then you as a seller have the opportunity to say, okay, fine, I'll take the lower appraised amount, no big deal, let's keep moving forward. Or you can say, nope, I'm putting the house back on the market. I want what I want for my house and I'm not going to work with this person anymore. Or you can choose to negotiate through it. Maybe, let's say there's a $10,000 appraisal cut. Maybe the buyer can afford to bring $5,000 to the table to make up the difference. And then you come down the other $5,000. You can work through it a multitude of ways. Or maybe it'll just appraise for what you need it to appraise for and no harm, no foul, you keep moving on. If you happen to live where there's an HOA or it's a condo, there's going to be some behind the scenes work that your agent's going to do for you. They are going to take care of ordering the resale cert and getting the HOA or condo docs to the buyer. Your agent will also be talking to the title company. The title company is the choice of the buyer, but the title company will also be prepping your deed for you, which there is a fee for that. Normally it's about $150. They will get the final closing documents. In Pennsylvania, the settlement sheet is called the ALTA. They will get a copy of that and they will call you to go over with it just to be sure that the numbers look good to everyone. The buyer's agent is the one who is in charge of scheduling settlement. They will work with their buyer to figure out what's a good time for them to sit down at a settlement table and sign all the paperwork. And then we get notified of the time. If the time does not work for you as a seller, you have the option to sign ahead of time, and then you can give your agent permission to sign whatever documents might be left at the settlement table in your absence. That's no problem. It happens quite frequently. And then when it comes time to go to closing, let's say you have not signed your documents ahead of time and you want to go to the table. It's a pretty cool time to maybe meet the buyer. Maybe you've never met them. It can be a good time to exchange information. The buyer might wonder, hey, when's trash day? Or, things like that. And you hand over the keys, but your agent will be there with you. And ultimately, through this entire process, from day one until settlement day, one of the biggest things that your agent will do for you is be moral support. It really does matter. You need to have an agent that is on your team, on your side, and is going to support you emotionally through this whole thing. Anyway, it's good to pick one that you really vibe with and you know is going to support you through to the end and probably be just as excited as you are. Another thing your agent will probably do for you is maintain some form of digital files. We have a program at Coldwell Banker called Transaction Manager that we send all of your documents to. And then you have access to that from the outside so that you don't have to keep track of your documents. We always have them for you. So that wraps up the playlist on selling a property. If you guys have anything else you'd like me to cover, just let me know and I will do my best to do so. Okay, bye guys.